Hey, welcome to the 1 year anniversary async history and player card reveal, and overall 1 year anniversary celebration of Wind Waker HD randomizer. So I'm going to be doing a live reveal of this on June 17th, 2025 in voice call, with a bunch of guys talking about the game. But this is for everyone that misses it, and just so we have a YouTube recording. It's going to be kind of scuffed, but hey, this scene has always been kind of scuffed. Our recordings have always been kind of scuffed. So let's get started and let's take a look at 1 year of async history. So it's going to have three parts to it. Hopefully, I have timestamps in the YouTube video so you can just skip to whatever part you want. Um, First, we're going to go over the weekly async history. So we've done 20 asyncs and we're going to have 20 weeks to review. Quick, brief little review. I'll go over it and then we'll have some comments just about how the week went, a quick little summary. And there's always for each week, there's one clip of the week. So stay tuned. We'll get to see every clip every week, something funny that happened, something humorous. And some weeks, honestly, there was almost nothing that happened. We all played well or we all played bad. So there are also some just funny extreme moments on there, things that happened if there is nothing I can find in the gameplay. Then we got a few slides, just three of them going over stats, spoilers, and side events. Just a little brief intermission going over some of the other parts of Rando that we haven't gotten to celebrate as much and hasn't had as much of a focus as the asyncs have. And then finally, some player cards. So yeah, this should be fun. Just a little something for every little week so we can remember this first year of randomizer, specifically our racing and the asyncs. Without further ado, let's begin. So, async week one, the one that started it all. So only one VOD survives from this week, courtesy of the winner, McJari. All the other Twitch VODs are gone, lost the time. But he highlighted his and did not get destroyed by the Twitch highlight limit. So yippee. Most runners this week skipped between 5 and 10 locations. No one really got super lucky. Despite that, it was a pretty good seed. Um, so myself, Tio, and Insom all got new PBs, which is really cool to see, especially in the first async. We all wanted to do really well. We were all worried, like all probably nervous. It's the first one we've ever done. So we see Jari won with a 137.33. The average was just under sub 2, 159.54. It had Forsaken Fortress, Forbidden Woods, and Tower of the Gods. So let's take a look at the clip of the week. Splatoon, it's a scam.
Splatoon, baby. What? Insta.
Yeah. So yeah, Jari with the Splatoon task, perfect aim, and then immediately getting hit by the Godon hand respawn. That's classic. All right, moving on to week two. Um, so week two, this was the slowest seed to date for both winning time and average time. The seed was the first submission for Mason and Alberto. Alberto unfortunately DNF'd, but it was his first attempt at the asyncs. There'd be two demons for weeks to come. I did not know who Mason was before he sent a message in this channel. I didn't really recognize his name from the leaderboard. I probably should have, but I think it's very funny. I did not know who Mason was before he posted right there. So this seed, looking back at the comments, we were all pretty upset about a mandatory double dip in Wind Temple. So I didn't see exactly what caused the double dip, but we all were not happy with Wind Temple, and yeah, we were all the comments were short this week. We were all pretty upset. So that was bad. And I think Jari kind of felt that mid-run as well. He won with a 202. The average is 220. There's Forbidden Woods, Tower of the Gods, and Wind Temple. We're going to the clip of the week. Um, see, he finds
Oh
yet
my
another
god.
bottle looking for go mode.
Oh.
And then as he leaves the ghost ship, you can hear his soul leaving his body. Um, that's just, that's really funny. Um, yeah, he was not having fun. None of us were at the go voting that seed. All right, and here we move on to week three. So week three, this is the first time we saw a sub 130 in race settings. Um, was a very solid showing from everyone. New PBs for Mason, Mercury, Face, Jari clutches, yeah, the sub 30. It's still not a PB for Jari at the time. He had a very impressive, I think it was a 119, including Tower of the Gods. He clutched the sub 120 with a seed with Tower of the Gods in it, which is kind of insane. Now, this was a golden trio of dungeons with a hinted dead Forbidden Woods. Yeah, so Jari went up to 129.27. The average was 142.53, which again, if we go back to last week, let me go backwards. 220, and then it's a 142. So we can already see we've had a 150, a 220, and then a 140 average time. We've had three very different schemes to start off. Clip of the week, when I was going through VODs, I couldn't help but chuckle when I saw this full 32 seconds of just. I was looking through many VODs, and I was like, wait, why am I on Angular for so long? When I was just scanning through. It's not the most entertaining clip, but oh, that's not gonna be it. Maybe this one. And no. And then it takes even longer. There we go. And I did get the swim. But a full 30 seconds to get in the water. That was the water RNG of all time that week. That was fun. Moving on to week four. So now, the holder of all mainboard categories, Mr. Alberto, 23, claims his first win and stops Shari's three streak of victories. So grapple and headstone defined the route this week. Everyone, when I was looking back at the comments, what stuck out to me, everyone was talking about grapple and headstone, grapple and headstone. You get DRI to headstone. I messed it up. Angular to headstone. Um, and yeah, that's everything about this week. So just even knowing that, I kind of remember the seed. Um, led to some issues for both Alberto and Mason. Yeah, so ended up having to figure out how to get Headstone later. 'Cause again, Mason was very new to the randomizer. I'm not sure what happened to him there. But Alberto, this is what happened to him on his chest storage attempts. Oh, his camera gets stuck when he uncrouches and he doesn't know what to do. So he just starts running in circles and tries again with a save quit to God knows where. So that was week four. Despite that, he still won. That was a good week. All right, moving on to week five. Mr. Alberto wins again, but the main highlight, I think, is the board expanding 12 players already by week five. So three new players in 1 week. Joash, Video Freak, and Reese all joined in. And another new for the Asyncs, it took 5 weeks for us to roll Earth Temple for the first time. The first dungeons were open instantly, and ET wasn't really that painful though. You're gonna see Alberto, even with Earth Temple, here's the 127.38. We have an average of a 150.47. 12 runners, average of a 150. That's really good. And we look back to last week, it's a 153, and that had DRC, FF, and Wind Temple. Basically just swapping Forbidden Woods for Wind Temple, and you got a pseudo golden combo. I like to call that one. DRC, FW, and Earth Temple, anything with Earth Temple is like complete luck. So this was a pretty lucky Earth Temple, and it's one where grapple and leap for both sphere zero, so the dungeons were just go, go, go. And Joash's first week, and he already sets a world record. You can see here, 220 on the bottom, 230, and he already pulls Greg. So yeah, this is another week where I couldn't find too many gameplay things, but I just found, oh my god, one, this is a seed with Greg, and two, Joash insta warped to Windfall and got it really fast with some fast hints. I think this is a world record Greg percent. So I had to showcase this instead of a clip. All right, moving on to week six. If you've played the Asyncs, you remember week six. Um, it is the God Seed. The fastest week to date. So still the fastest week we have by both winning time and average time. So I've been showing over the previous average times and comparing them. This, I'm sure you noticed immediately, a winning time 104. I haven't seen another sub 110 besides Jari and Alberto this week. I haven't seen a single other sub 110 on race settings since. So it was a golden combo of dungeons, the golden trio again, and a lot of dead islands. Jari said he only visited one unneeded island, which was Southern Ferry, and that was on his way to 2i, which was required. So it was basically he still if he hadn't routed that, he probably wouldn't have gone to 2i. So he skipped so many things. Now skipping things in the dungeons, um, people have branded this seed again as a spoiler seed. Mercury specifically, he has done that. And he's gotten a 57-minute time on the seed. Now, that's pretty good, but that also shows that Mercury, with the spoiler log, knowing where everything is, can only beat Jari by less than 10 minutes. Jari played really, really well this week. And we haven't really seen a performance or a seed this lucky since. So yeah, the sub 130 average between 12 runners. That's kind of insane. And the clip of the week, once again, going to the Joe Ash stream.
I let him cook because he gonna cook me up a piece of the Triforce, dude. He gonna cook me up a piece. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna do it right now. Yes! 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 He cooked, dude! Yes! Okay, this might actually let him cook.
I want to turn that up for the next ones. But yeah, Joash, you can see when he goes out on his tracker here, he still has so many islands to check. But this is finding go mode, sub 110, asking for the cheese, and finally we let him cook. One of the best, one of the best memes that we share in the asyncs. All right, moving on to week 7. Week 7 was another really strong week. This week had the potential to be another God seed, but the hammer placement kind of led to everyone's demise here. So this week with our record high participants, so this is still we haven't had more than 13. We've had 12 a bunch of times, but we have not hit 13 since week 7. Golden combo and some insane potential. I remember looking through my notes. I said I lost like 15 minutes to hammer search. I only needed hammer to go beat Helmarock and go mode because I knew FF. It wasn't hinted dead, but I only needed the Helmarock cheese at like 105 or something, and then it took me 15 minutes to look for hammer and then high roll. Um, but it was just a really weird hammer placement, and everyone played really weird. So it was a very unconventional board. It was my only win. Joash's highest placement as well, and very quick in the settings. Mason in 7th, which I think is his lowest ever placement. So it was just a very weird board. Um, Something I did find that never got posted. Um, if y'all want to see how to do the octo properly, if you do it with light arrows, he gets an early shot.
Oh, double hits! Let's go!
Gets the collat,
Yeah! That's the... Is that the fastest octo you can do?
and then gets the octo. So, that was he said, "Is that the fastest octo?" I think it might be. That's a pretty task octo. So shout out to Jari with that one. Winning time 126.08 and an average of 142.59. Moving on to week 8. Week 8 was the third week of Golden Dungeon combo, and I know we had talked about that. We were like, oh my God, we're almost getting tired of these dungeons because not like we're getting tired of easy seeds, but um, when everyone does super well, it's hard to do well. And you see now, me and Joash, I got first, he got second. Now we drop to he's 6th and I am 7th. So the board kind of flips itself, and Alberto Mason all on top. 4 M names in a row. You'll get used to seeing the M names on top. Alberto with a 126.51. Very nice. So we all learned, yeah, it was the second week in a row of hammer hunting. So this was the week where hammer was at Star Island, and everyone just started to hate Star Island more and more and more. Um, Something really cool this week. Mercury and Loud finished only 6 seconds apart. So some weeks I tried to look for a lot of the really close placements, and this was definitely one of them. Um, so going to the clip of the week, This happened to Jari. So I found this on Jari's VOD. Um,
All async I know is from Heroes and General's back end. Perfect. Huh? What was that? Huh?
yeah, one, I love the Jari reactions. Here's has the best, like, huh? I love that. But it looks like he jumped right before the platform had actually formed. Like, this is still the animation of it forming, but I don't know if it's actually solid. And then he, like, burns, and then it forms the next frame, and he lands on it. And he's stuck, like, running in
Huh?
place. So,
What was that?
that was a good one.
Huh?
And that was week 8. So again, Mr. Alberto winning that one. Week 9, we got Mr. Alberto winning again with a 131.11, average time of 153.19, and some pretty good dungeons, but still, this time Wind Temple for FF. Had open dungeons from the beginning, so another one with both Grapple and Leaf very early. Had to no insane times. And then, yeah, me, Joash, and Loud all finished within a minute of each other. I remember syncing our VODs and watching this as a race. And um, I had a bigger lead going into Hyrule. Almost caught up to me, and Loudscapes was. I think Joash passed Loudscapes in Hyrule. So Joash having the experience, the cleanest Hyrule, but I had too much of a buffer, and Loud had not enough of a buffer. But we all finished within a minute. It was a crazy race. Um, yeah, but of course, Mr. Alberto and Mason, miles above the three of us. So shout out to both of them. And this clip from Mr. Alberto. So sets up for the trog shot, and he's in a position where the light rays are just completely in his face here. I don't know how he sees it. He probably doesn't, and it's all based on feeling. Or he just knows how to see, but I can imagine playing with Bloom on. That's just blinding to me. So that was clip of the week, and that was week 9. Now, week 10. This was the first and I'm pretty sure only week so far with Vanilla Sword Chamber. That's something that we were all typing about, all excited for. So Mason won his first async after barely getting buffed by Alberto a few times. Um, and this would be a trend. So we're gonna see Mason on top now. He got his taste of victory and he would not let it go for a bit. Um, so almost everyone full cleared, and Tio beat Mercury by 1 second. So we have not had any closer finishes to date. Tio beating Mercury by just 1 second. So again, these middle of the board battles have been some of the most exciting races. And again, if any tournaments happen, obviously it's going to be. I have something showing like how many wins people got, and I think it's a very even spread. We have very good potential for anyone to win any kind of tournament. But these kind of middle of the table battles are really, really fun. Some of my most favorite. So clip of the week this week, courtesy of Insomnitrix. First clip we're seeing from Insom. So, um, Insom, I'll restart this in a sec, but we're gonna see what happens. So he stabs the pig, and then runs by, talks to the little girl, gets hit once. You can see him spamming uh, on his Xbox controller to roll, but nope, it's replaced by the pickup text. Pauses for a second to compose himself, and clutches out the roll. So in some narrowly avoiding death here, but I love how you can see the panic on the input display, the mashing, like no, let me out, and then gets it. So very nice there, very funny from Insan. All right, and that is week 10, so that's the halfway point of the asyncs. Moving on to week 11. At this point, we've got Mr. Alberto coming back for revenge. I said Mason's gonna stay on top. Nope, Alberto came back last second again. Um, Few runners got unlucky with Rockspire having the final cheese. Yeah, this was a seed where um, this was just like people were talking about the locations a lot. People talk about Rockspire, and then Greg was at Eastern. So, but overall, this was a pretty normal week. Uh, where you see like the winning time was pretty nice and the average time was pretty far off that with a 152.11. So a lot of runners had some not great luck. Um, Forbidden Woods, FF, and Earth Temple again rearing its ugly head. But clip of the week, I think this one's mine. Again, not the best, but going for the camera lock here. 2 minutes in the seed. And I mentioned Rockspire, and I just canceled it. I just literally pressed the D-pad twice. For no, that's past me. I know that's my voice twice, so that's probably confusing. But yeah, that was me. We said we got unlucky with Rockspire Cheese. Some people just checked it last. For me, I checked it last because I was gonna go to Rockspire and D-pad up twice. Goodbye, camera lock, and that's it. So that was week 11. Week 12. Week 12 was a very interesting week. This week had the option to go mode, Wind Temple, or Tower of the Gods, or neither. Some people ended up full clearing them both, which is pretty unlucky. But both Wind Temple and Tower of the Gods had their. I think Wind Temple was dead, if I remember, but Tower of the Gods had like the final cheese very early on. So if you found your go mode in Tower of the Gods, you got to go mode both of them. And if you did Wind Temple first, then you only got to go mode Tower of the Gods. So I think Mason got both. I only got Tower of the Gods. Joash only got Tower of the Gods. Jari got both, but got unlucky somewhere else. Um, so yeah, there's another scene where Mason forgot to track delivery bag. He stored it at Mother and Child, and then that led to him just not checking uh or not knowing certain things were in logic and routing around it, like delaying Windfall because he didn't think he could do Cafe Postman and stuff when in actuality he just could. And then delaying Windfall led him to find his final cheese instead of just going there, and something like that happened. I can't remember exactly. So, I wrote this week had the gap between one and two. I did not write the word largest. It had the largest gap between number one and two. So Mason earned, I think, the most points out of any week this week for just separating himself so much. So he had a winning time of 127, and this week had an average of a 207. That average also a little skewed. We see Tag entering the asyncs. Um, so Tag and Tom entering by this point. So the average is going to be brought down a little bit just because there are some more outlying times there. But still, Mason putting himself above even second place by a long shot this week. But both he and Joash might need to invest in some glasses because they were reading the hints. And there was a hint that said, Private Oasis has a Triforce chart, and that ended up on the first floor. Joash went to the second floor because he was like, "Wait, what?"
Which is right here. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I lied
And
to.
he was given literal
Wait a
bait.
minute. Didn't it say Private Oasis was had a try?
Yeah, and he literally got baited by the Triforce. Um, and yeah, that was very funny. Both he and Mason did that. So Triforce chart instead of the Triforce shard. That was week 12. Moving on to week 13. This is one of the slower weeks. So the average going down even more to a 210.49. But the winning time dropping by almost like over 10 minutes into a 141.24. You see, that's not like, oh, it was just Jari and no one else was contending. Mason was there, Alberto was there. They both finished the seed. Everyone had a bad time because this was the seed with both Mirror Shield and Grappling Hook in Earth Temple. So everyone in their right mind went searching for them before Earth Temple. Had to go into Earth Temple, find the Mirror Shield, find the grapple on the left side. I remember exactly where it was at the three block room chest. Um, and then they had to go back for a DRC. And Forbidden Woods was doable without the grappling hook, but you need to know grapple is Forbidden Woods. So runners that didn't know that were also locked out of Forbidden Woods. Now, a big highlight this week. You're gonna see I mentioned these top runners here, three M names, but Joash, number six on the board. I've been clip farming Joash a lot, you noticed, because he has a lot of clips like this. The double! You can see his absolutely full cleared tracker, webcam off. It's him in the chair pick. Um, but he is still cranking out a double trog shot like it's nobody's business. So that is insane. Moving on to week 14. Week 14, winning time of 134.48. So that one we're looking a little bit better. The average of 149.05. So you're gonna see the average went from 207, 210, dropping to 149. So a little bit better average this week with an unhinted dead DRC and Tot G. Um, so I think everyone cleared DRC when it was dead, but Tower of the Gods was very go modable. Um, it did have the leaf in it, but you didn't need it. I remember I found go mode by Tower of the Gods, but when looking for the keys, I found the leaf on the way. I was like, might as well check the spiky chest, and it did lead to a little bit of faster clear. But yeah, most roads led to full clear, thanks to a pretty insane chain to grapple. This is one where both delivery bag and note to mom were in a really bad spot, and then grappling hook came out of that. But um, yeah, another week with Mr. Alberto winning, and the three M names on top. And clip farming Joash once again. We're gonna see the reaction to that grapple chain.
Huh? That doesn't even make no doodly sense. Wait, where did I get delivery bag? Does anyone remember where I get the
I love Joash's reactions. It was some like hints on some path to it was disgusting. It was some wrong hints and then it made no sense. It wasn't a wrong hint, of course, it was just an ambiguous hint. All right. Moving to week 15. So week 15, Mercury claims the number one spot as the fifth only the fifth person to win the asyncs. And he would be at this point, the final to this point the final new person to win an async. We have not seen anyone new win since Mercury in week 15. Not to spoil the weeks coming up. This seed had a Go Modable Earth Temple and Tower of the Gods for a not full clear week. First time in a while. So a lot of times we're full clearing, but because of, even though it had Tower of the Gods and Earth Temple, Mercury was very close to the sub 130. So a few PBs came out of this one, including big ones for Tom and Tag. So I remember, yeah, this is Tom's by far best ever placement, and he did very, very well this week. And Loudscapes, who named himself Loud Sucks on the submission board, um, this is what happened to him this week. You can see on his tracker, no bottle there, and he is just running for his life. He's not even trying to hit him with the bomb. He's just trying to get more morphs for life. And he's like, I need to slow him down. And even though he gets the bomb throw, Puppy has way too much momentum and hits him anyway. So this was part of his video of like the high roll of all time. Oh, peak gaming is what the video is called. Yeah. Um, so this was a fun one. And rest in peace, Loudscapes at the end of this seed. He skipped 20 locations. You can see it on his tracker. He did skip 9 things in Tower of the Gods and 7 in Earth Temple. He got the go mode in Earth Temple, and then I think it was the Pearl and the Cheese in Earth Temple led to your go mode. Um, but yeah, no bottle. That was pain for him. Moving on to week 16. Week 16, Mercury winning a back to back. Very nice there. Um, and yeah, more M names on top. Always M names on top. 135 winning time with a 158 average, which is very nice. Yeah, we did have one of the newer runners, Kaito Chris, also in this one, and we see some of the averages would get a little bit lower depending on uh, how many one if the seed was just good or bad, because it's going to go up and down by like 10 plus minutes. But if there's a new runner, if there are any outlier times like that, but Chris popping off, and we still had a sub 2 average time across 11 runners, which I think is very nice. So this was a this was a pretty good week with DRC, Tower of the Gods, and FF. So we saw Tower of the Gods a few times now. Um, and Mason got this. Look, starts with him opening the door. Like, look at that. It's 15 seconds from him pressing A to Ganon like hitting the ground. It's that is the fastest phase one I've seen in my entire life. And he said it's like his best ever high roll, like period. That phase one's definitely part of it, but this is a great high roll. Um, if you're looking for any examples of what to do, go check out Async 16 from Mason. Moving on to week 17. Speaking of Mason, we got a Mason dub here. So 127.50 to take the win with an average of a 157.05. So again, nine runners, Kaito, Chris still in there, and we're still getting sub two averages. So really, really nice showing. Like that's the entire community kind of getting better there. Um, Great spawn. Yeah, we spawned on Diamond Step, which was good for everyone except Insom. I think Insom had some dilemma where he jumped off to get his hints, but realized he never saved, and then had to remake a file. Um, which also Insom had some troubles with Diamond Step in week 20. So I think we're seeing a little bit of a theme here. I didn't realize it until right now, thinking back. Wait, Insom just had Diamond Step troubles, but it started in week 17. Um, and because of that, he lost 30 seconds, and that he lost to Tom by only 30 seconds this week. So they've had a little bit of an ongoing feud trading spots again in this kind of middle of the board. Really, really cool matchups to see on that side. And clip of the week here. Um, I just this is one that I don't know if this is even a clip or if this is just normal behavior. I was just going through hours of VODs. My brain was just fried. And then I saw Mason, and for some reason I watched his horseshoe clear, and this happened. And I can't tell if this is normal or if this is supposed to happen. That was not going in. I don't care if the wind was going upright. Look at that. No, this is right after it turns. Look right before it turned. I'm gonna go like frame by frame here. It is going like upright. It is going to just keep going upright. It doesn't even hit the corner. You see it bounce, and then already it's rolling a little more to the left, and then it just turns and starts moving by itself to the left, completely different direction, and then it's in. So I'll show that in full motion one more time. I think we have to check Mason's Wii U. I think he might be hacking. I think he may have coded the nut to automatically be heat seeking like for the golf hole there. So check him Wii U. Check him Game Disc, please. Um, yeah, DRC, FW, and Wind Temple. That was a pretty fun week. And I don't know, it's a pretty funny clip, I think. Moving on to week 18. It took 18 weeks to find a double temple seed, but here it is. Both Earth Temple and Wind Temple. We got it many times. We've even gotten like, wow, knock on wood, we haven't gotten Tower of the Gods, Earth Temple, Wind Temple yet. We have never gotten the slowest combo in an async. No one played amazing, but another Alberto Shadow submission coming in last second destroys everyone. This week did feature an unfortunate Mason DNF. Um, I feel bad. He called me. I wasn't at my computer. I called him like 10 minutes later, and then he had already DNF'd at that point. But I maybe could have helped him. Maybe could have saved him. But yeah, it was just a peak on an island that went wrong. An interesting week. Not a single time in the 150s, despite that being the average time. So yeah, it was average of 157, but the gap from the top four and the bottom four, it went from um like mid 130 Alberto and the 140s for I think Jar's a 130, me and Josh were 140s, and then it went to like over 2 hours. So huge gap there, but still averaging a 157.45. So a little bit of a rough week, obviously, with Earth Temple and Wind Temple. The average took a little bit of a hit. And Tom, unfortunately, got hit the hardest. And he hit frame perfect Mulgara storage. I'm gonna rewind here. He hit Mulgera storage, which is frame perfect. Oh, I'm in the full video. Return clip, please. It's this really long Wind Waker dive. And then what he did not account for, even though he had four hearts, I don't know if he knew this, Mulgera will almost guarantee damage you on the first hit, and then has a chance to kill you again. So watch his HP here. Instantly gets hit because Mulgera's hitbox just becomes huge for some
Yippee!
reason. And then
No,
he runs back
no,
in.
no way, no way, no way. No way that happened. What the fuck?
And has to redo Mulgera. So that was really unfortunate for Tom there. He was on pretty good pace. He was able to go probably. Um, I don't know. Oh, he needed an extra one more bow for Earth Temple, and then he would have been on his way. But yeah, that was week 18. And moving on to week 19, Mason's back, back with a bang, beating out everyone except Alberto by over 10 minutes. So it was like Mason with a 128, Alberto with like a low 130, and then Josh with like high 130 or even 140. Um, it was a huge gap. So this had Tower of the Gods, a dead FF, and Wind Temple. So a hinted dead FF, I should say. Um, Wind Temple had its own hook shot, but it was kind of double hinted. One of the hints, no, actually, I don't know if it was double hinted or just single hinted. I remember Alberta writing something about double hinted, but I can't remember the two I hint. I can't confirm that. But it was definitely like Wind Temple on the path to Mulgera. Um, and clip of the week this week came from me, but it's like me and Bomb Island. So uh I've gone Magtail storage before. You can get Magtail hop storage. Same thing with the statues to do scale skip. And this is what happens if you press B. It says 1 out of 5, but it's like 3 out of 5. It's Jaboon and Orca. Oh, and Great Fairy. No, dude. It says 1 out of 5. The Magtail hop storage. So that's what it looks like. You try to drop it in place, and he gets the hop and like goes like a throw. Oh, and Great Fairy. And completely untargeted because the Magtails face you. He hits his buddy in the eye and kills him. So we got some Magtail friendly fire. That was a really funny one. And then moving on to the final week, we have week 20. Um, this was a very kind of ironic seed, as Mason put it. The item placement was very ironic. Winning time of 133.05 from Mason. Another unfortunate Alberto DNF. Average of 157.24. So, I was saying things before about the average time, some outliers were bringing it lower, but we're still getting like low 150s with some bad seeds. So, as a whole, it comes down a lot to luck. Um, a lot to luck. And this was not a very lucky week for anyone, I think. Um, but the the items placements were just so funny. And it was a pretty okay dungeon combo with both DRC, Forbidden Woods, and Tower of the Gods. So yeah, it was bombs at Bomb Island. Pick those on both platforms and two bows at Paw Print. And Jari maybe could have won this week had it not been for the save crash. Yeah, so you see, me and Mason start to realize I I have no idea what causes that. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, but that is just pure pain. Um, if he had not gone to hop across, if he had gone to chest behind vulnerable wall first, he would have found his final cheese for go mode, and he would have just been, or I think maybe even the keys. He might have had known where his cheese was. I already can't remember, even though it was this week. But really unfortunate for Jari there, and that led to a few minutes of time loss and a loss to Mason in week 20. And that does it for the async weekly history. So that is 20 weeks of history. Um, and if you want to go back and look through them, all the posts are still in the async races. Even the first one, it's kind of weird. The first weekly race feed, it doesn't pop up when I scroll, but if you search for um, some of the, you can just search through people's messages and then you can find it through there. I always search for just the winning time because I know I looked it up in this PowerPoint. It's a 1:37:33. If you look that up, it'll bring you to Jari's time. You click his time and it'll bring you to the entire post. It's very weird how it's kind of hidden. Anyway, um, moving on to the stats, spoilers, and side events. We start with the stats. So first, thought it would be interesting to tally how many times did we get every dungeon. So interestingly enough, we got the blessed combo an even amount of times. So between DRC, FW, and FF, it's a three-way tie for first. No one of them we got more than the others. The blessed combo, I don't know if it was the most common combo we got. I kind of think it is. It feels like it is. But I did not count every combo and tally that up. But obviously those three dungeons across all weeks showed up the most. Then there's a tie, again, very interesting, a tie between Tower of the Gods and Wind Temple for fourth place with eight, which is five less. That's a pretty big gap. I think it's very interesting that it ended up there. So both of them at eight, and then Earth Temple three behind that. We've gotten very lucky in these first 20 weeks, only seeing Earth Temple five times. Anyway, async winners. So with the async winners, I thought it'd be fun to just tally it up. We could see Alberto's won seven, Mason's won five, Jari's won five, Mercury's won two, and I have won one. So Mr. Alberto taking a narrow lead with seven, and that's with less asyncs played than both, well, Mason and Jari. Um, I have a little note about asyncs played on the side. So week six, I want to note, had four of the five fastest times across all weeks, like just the fastest ever times achieved. And the fifth ever fastest time was me on week seven. So if we just say like independently, who are the fastest times ever achieved in the asyncs, I have number uh three and five, which is cool. But I think my next one is a pretty low drop because there are so many like other 120s and 130s, but I narrowly got the fifth place. Only two runners completed every async. That was me and Loud. Intel and Jari attempted every async, but both DNF'd one. Jari did technically even finish the seed he DNF'd, but he DNF'd himself from submission. So therefore, we're not counting his time. Highest points in 1 week was Mason on week 12 with 1105. That was the week I mentioned had the largest gap between number one and number two. So for anyone that doesn't know how the qualifier points work, it's based off the average time of the top three runners and then your time compared to that. So because Mason had the highest gap even just between number two, he ended up getting the spot there, or not the spot, the highest gap there and the highest points in 1 week. Alberto and beat Mason in average qualifier points by only one. So that's like how many points you got divided total divided by how many races you finished total. So um, Alberto had 1,013 and Mason had 1,012. Mercury beat Tio by one. Reese beat Video Freak by two. Tag beat Chris by two. There are so many close rankings. You can see the full list and the full async history. I have it linked here on the sheet. I have a full async history spreadsheet to look at. Um, Also, just want to issue a quick correction. There was a mishap with the average points. So turns out Mason is not as close to Alberto as I thought, but still Mason is in second place by a decent bit. So it is him and Alberto. A quick correction there. Next, spoiler log boards. So this is gonna be a little bit of yapping. Spoiler logs were something we tried for all of, let's see, was it yeah, 15 races. So this other peak in week six, uh, which was the week of the God Seed, and I think everyone was just really excited to run. and 9 people participated that week. Three of them would never run again. Of the 15 races total, Mercury ran 14, I ran 13. We were the most dedicated. Mason ran 7, Jari Joash ran 6. So he was unfortunately killed after the discovery of a new NA% PG skip, and everyone that just wanted to do a routed run, instead of doing attempts of spoiler log and reset fests to like storage to Helmarock, why not just do any percent and reset fest to PG skip and MSS? So that unfortunately ended up killing the spoiler logs. But in week 11, Mason got a 41-44. So and every runner mentioned got times under 46 minutes, everyone in the 45-minute or below time range. And that's for clearing 3 dungeons, Ganondorf, and the overworld. Um, Obviously, we know where everything is, but you still need to go get everything. And doing that all in 41 minutes is insane. So there's now a set seed post to kind of live on the spirit of spoiler log, but only Mercury has attempted it. That's when I mentioned the God Seed itself, and Mercury running a spoiler version of that. Will we ever see the return of spoiler log in full glory? We'll have to wait and see. I think spoiler log races would be very fun to start up again. Maybe not asyncs. I think spoiler log asyncs and having a week to do it is kind of it takes the fun out of it for me. It makes it more of a chore. This is just a personal rant. But I think getting live races where it's like you have 30 minutes to route, or your routing is part of your live time. But I think live races would be really cool. Moving on. Um, so other races and events. So there's just some fun little facts of side events, other things that have happened, other stats and things like that. So the first ever recorded HD randomizer race was well before the rando officially released, September 8th, 2023. So almost 2 years before it came out on race time. There's a race between Alberto and Scythiel. So that's a little bit of trivia for you there. And obviously, Alberto on his YouTube channel has many HD randomizer videos from the pre-release builds running on SD settings, just in HD. Um, and there's a lot of beta testing that I don't know a lot of the actual history of. I was not a part of, but um, that's the farthest back race that I could find. The fastest mini blitz race is from Mason with a 45:57, which is just absolutely absurd. Um, Again, that was not hinted. That is a settings with 2 dungeons. Things like fairies are off, combat capes are off, spoils are off, but most of race settings are preserved, and he beat them 45:57. Kind of insane. I just have my own, like, it says unrecorded. These are more like unofficial, and I just get runners' times by word of mouth or if I remember what they said their time was. And there are 2 unrecorded races where Jari and Mason beat each other by less than 10 seconds. One with normal settings where Mason beat Jari by less than 10 seconds. Um, I said one async. It should be one mini blitz. There was a mini blitz we played the other day where the exact opposite happened. And yeah, Jari beat Mason just by the littlest bit. So they beat each other both by 10 seconds. The fastest co-op race settings clear, using the time of the second runner's finish, was a 1:24:50 between me and Loud. I think it's very, very beatable, but no one's really tried. Only me and Loud have ran more co-ops. We haven't really gotten any god seeds or lucky seeds, and working out perfect execution routing is still hard. But 1:24:50 is our PB. The entrance anniversary co-op was won by me and Mason with a final time of the second runner of a 2:15:50. So that is like race settings plus all entrances shuffled, not decoupled and not misc, but everything else on. And that was a really fun seed. We basically full cleared, but still, um, if we had gotten a little bit luckier with just one piece of the Triforce, it could have been sub 2, honestly, which would be really, really cool for an entrance randomizer. The fastest max setting 100% time. So all settings cranked on and 100%ing the seed, including like pieces of heart, everything, is a 9:39:35 by Mercury. I couldn't find any other runs though. I know um, Gymnast and Linkus do these kind of races like on their YouTube, but I couldn't find the YouTube video. I couldn't remember the final time. I think I found Linkus's, but it was slower than this, and I think Jim won, but I forgot Jim's time. And I couldn't find it on Jim's YouTube channel. So, as far as I know, max setting 100%, 9:39:35. I would love to try to attempt and beat that, but I don't know if you can catch me doing a 9-hour stream. So shout out to Mercury just for the dedication to finish a run like that. And then moving on to the player cards. So these are going to be sorted by um, total qualifier points, but I want to make this clear. This does not reflect any kind of official ranking. It does not reflect my opinions of runners. This does not reflect who I think is better or awesome or more good looking. This is just sorted by qualifier points, which is half a reflection of how many points you get and half a reflection of just how often you play the game, how many races you completed. So, um, you're going to see, I'm going to show just some stats for the runners, some a little summary of their play style or notable moments. So, yeah, let's take a look. With the first one, Mick Jari, average time of a 1:38:23. That's third total. Fastest time of a 1:04:29. First place in week six. Average rank of 2.79. So average coming in third place, but a little above that. Um, He's got 18,591 qualifier points, with 978 average points. So the top three average, if you match it every week, is 1,000. So Jari getting 978, almost playing to that top three average every week. And you can see he is third in that stat. He's third, first, third, first, third. And his best performances came in week six, three, and one, where he got first place all three of those weeks. So Jari has won, as we saw before, 5 total weeks, and these were his three highest performances based on qualifier points. So McJari is pioneer of countless race setting strats and known for his combination of godly routing and deep knowledge to pull off tricks no one else considers in runs. He has a history in the vanilla speedrun, but was one of the first dedicated randomizer streamers, bringing many others into the game. His wiki is still the number one resource for improving at randomizer, and Jare continues to push the game further while crushing everyone. So, shout outs to McJari. You obviously know every week you have a chance to see him in first. He's been running the boards for us. He's been um has his wiki with so many strats. He's still glitch hunting. He um you know what? His reputation kind of precedes himself. That is McJari and number one overall in the qualifier points. Huge shout outs to him. Next, we have me. So I have an average of a 1:43:42, fourth place. My fastest time is a 1:15:49, which is third in that week six. My average rank is a 3.65, fourth place overall. 18,445 qualifier points, which is second. Only 150 behind Jari, but I also have a full extra race finished. You see my average is a 9:22, fourth place, but a whole 50 behind Jari. So even though he has one less race, that's 19 other races where he's getting 50 more points than me, and he squeaks out the win there. My best performances were in week 1, 7, and 17 with a second, first, and second place. So those are my best times by qualifier points. I started out with randomizer before anything, and starting off with my first race, just trying my hand against both McJari and Loudscapes, I got absolutely destroyed. And then there's another race I did where Alberto showed up, and getting to race against Alberto as a new runner was such a cool feeling, just knowing like he's the guy at the top of the leaderboards. So I instantly began studying both randomizer and vanilla to become a threat. Most weeks are a consistent 1-4x, but I can also pop off, and I've won one week so far. But with time split between entrance randos, all dungeons, Lego Star Wars, and making PowerPoints like this, will I ever recover from my current washed form? Also, it's so weird typing about myself in the third person, but I kind of wanted to leave this document here um, without my hands all over it. So please excuse the cringy third person writing. It was just to keep it consistent. Next, we have Mason. So average time of a 1:35:31. He's in second place there. Fastest time of a 1:27:28. That's fifth place on the fastest times. But you see, it's not week six. Mason had an unlucky week six, but week 12, just a random week, he showed that he can pop off and get his fastest ever time and the fifth place for fastest times. I think that is the sixth or seventh fastest ever time. But again, in terms of like individual runners, that is fifth place for fastest times ranked. Average rank of a 1.94, so just about second place, and he is second overall in average rank. Um, 17,936 qualifier points with an average of 996 per race. So really, really close to that 1,000 mark. You're going to see best performances, three first place performances in weeks 12, 17, and most recent one, week 20. Mason was a known threat in the vanilla game, but came back to the game learning rando from square one. He came out of the gates blazing with consistent podium placements. And after, again, he said he had a notepad of tricks. He just needed to grind, and he just spent the time grinding that notepad of tricks. Mason finally reached his final form. Pop off after pop off with many runs looking untouchable. Led to Mason dominating the boards for weeks. A little do we know, Mason's nowhere near his true final form. We're going to see Mason pop off even more. I believe it. So huge shout outs to Mason Star One. Next up, we got Loudscapes. Love the Discord PFP there. So average time of 153.25. That's eighth overall. Fastest time is a 132 22, ninth, week eight. You see also not coming from week six. So week eight was a good one for him there. Average rank of a 6.45, but that ends up ranking eighth overall. So you see the average rank is not it's not going to be like, oh, it rounds to six. We have some runners that have because not every runner's played every week. It's kind of weird with the average rank that ends up eighth overall. And qualifier points though, Loud showing his consistency, showing he shows up every week, gets a run in every week, finishes every week, gets 16,352, securing fourth place by a decent bit. And average points, sorry, had to cut right there. That was 818. That puts him in eighth place there. So really solid showing every week, getting over 800 points. Really solid. Desperate week performances. You can see well over 900 points. Week 2, 8, and 9, getting third, fourth, and fifth place respectively. So really showing that Loud is able to keep up with the top there. But he is the self-described best worst player, or sometimes he even says he's the worst best player because he is sometimes you can see like getting in that echelon of the best players, but considers himself right in the middle there. Also, self-prescribed, just perfect average. Many streams you're gonna tune in and see his async, titled like the average time this week. Tune in for the average, but Loud is anything but that. He's an OG of the randomizer racing scene, and his live streams are probably the most fun you can have watching randomizer. You're gonna get fully unbuffered Lenzo clips into a failed swim, into the cleanest rope spam you've ever seen. And recently, Lau's been putting his attention into any percent, and he grabbed number six in the world. Uh, Currently number seven, but he was number six before Mason popped him out again. And a PB played 2 minutes from Saab. So as much as he likes to say he's the best worst player and skill issues, he's shown the consistency. And now that his consistency is elite, can he come dominate randomizer and play a rando within 2 minutes of his sub, if there was a rando sub? Huge shout outs to Loud, and I think he can come back to rando with an absolute vengeance and grind this out. Next up, we have Mercury. So Mercury with an average time of a 151.55. That's in seventh. Fastest time is a 1:30.48. Week 15. So you see another one where it's not week six. Mercury did have a good week six, but he had an even better week 15. Just absolutely popping off that week. And you're going to see that netted him a win. So we already looked at that week. I'm saying it like it's going to happen in the next section, but obviously we already went through all the asyncs. He has an average rank of 5.37, which is sixth place, and he has 15,901 qualifier points, netting him the fifth spot overall, rounding out the top five here in qualifier points. Average points per week, 837, which gives him the sixth place spot, and overall, really, really solid performances every week from Mercury. Best coming in week 15 and 16, we saw those back-to-back wins, and then going to week 8, he had another really solid performance with 954 qual points. As much as I hate to admit it, I used to have this title, but now Mercury is the undisputed king of Simu. Mercury is known for his routing expertise from the spoiler logs, and he's extremely fast learning of difficult strats. So popping up in weeks 15 and 16, he went back to back, all on half a screen shared with a few other windows. If you've never seen Mercury's screen setup, he's got the game window, he's got his game pad, he's got a notepad, he's got a timer, he's got the tracker, all managed on one monitor. He does not have two monitors to play on. So um, that is absolutely insane. Um, and recently, he's even begun to implement metronome strats, island hopping onto diamond step to skip just straight from horseshoe to save time. Like, yes, we have early diamond step, but he's going for earliest diamond step. Um, he's continuing to improve, and we might see even more wins if he keeps pulling out strats like that. I would totally expect to see it, and I would love to see, get this man a second monitor. He deserves a second monitor, or you know what, get him a Wii U so we can use his one monitor for the computer and then one monitor for the Wii U. But for now, until that happens, he is going to be the undisputed king of Simu. Huge shout outs to Mercury. Moving on to Joash. Joosh. He's got an average time of a 146.04 in sixth place. His fastest time is a 118.20. So we're going to see a 1x time, which is really nice. Fourth place, and that came from week 6. Average rank of a 4.88, grabbing the fifth spot. 13,920 qualifier points, number 6. And again, Joash came late to the asyncs, so that's very impressive. With 870 average points per week, fifth place in that. His best performances came in week 7, 19, and 5. So you can see he's showing some really good early performances, and even recently showing some really good performances with second, third, and fourth place respectively. All just shy of 1,000, but all in the 900. So really, really solid performances there. And today you cannot tune into a Wind Waker HD stream without seeing at least one Juice in the chat. Uh, you're always gonna find him in there at some point. He ain't just throwing out a good luck or a little lurk, and someone's gonna throw it out there. Former world record holder for both this game in many categories, and still a current world record holder in at least one category extension, podium spots, and many different boards, and other Zeldas as well. Before coming over to Rando, he was grinding Echoes of Wisdom, both any percent in all dungeons, and I believe in all dungeons he had the world record there for a little while. Um, so his reputation precedes him. Josh was late to the Asyncs but came out blazing. His 118 was in his second week of racing. So he had experience on Randomizer before. We know thanks to at least one YouTube video he has posted. But in terms of these settings, this was his second week playing on Randomizer race settings. He got a 118. Obviously, it's the God Seed week, but still, you need to play extremely well to pull that off. Josh streams are sure to capture at least one moment of pure cinema, like an OG Cabana weird shot, or a double trial shot to end a seed. So, Joash, you can see I clip farmed him a lot for the weekly. I think his streams are a lot of fun, and always something to be had there. So, huge shout outs to Joash. Super solid runner, super solid streamer. My streamer. Next up, we have the GOAT, Mr. Alberto, with an average time of 131.21. First fastest time of 109.36. That's the second fastest time and the only other 10x time ever achieved, as far as we know. Um, that's in second, just behind Jari. Average rank of 1.77. So you can see that's first place, but it's nowhere near a clear shot number one. Again, Mason's was a 1.94. So Mason's coming for him on the average rank. Qualifier points, 13,168. That puts him in seventh, but Alberto's only played 13 asyncs. So you can see 13 asyncs, over 13,000 points. He is averaging over 1,000 points per async, which is just utterly absurd. And that nets him number one in that category. His best performances were in week 4, 18, and 9, all first place times. He is the GOAT. Was anyone surprised when Alberto submitted his first time and got the then fastest times in back-to-back weeks in weeks 4 and 5? No, yeah. Honestly, we were kind of surprised. The shadow submissions, the last second drops. Um, so yeah, we honestly were surprised by that. But soon enough, we came to expect the Alberto run. in the night that left no room for competition. Some unlucky seeds led to a string of full clears and DNFs, but even that cannot keep Alberto from being the best average rank, time, and points. So the GOAT a little bit lower on this list just because it's by qualifier points, but again, that is no indication of anything other than the total qualifier points. So Alberto, huge shout outs to him. Next up, we have Insom. So Insomnitrix, average time of 2:25:22 in 13th place. Fastest time of 1:56:11 in 12th place. Average rank of 9.26. That's the 11th ranked time. Total qualifier points, 9,171. So you see a little bit of a drop off from Alberto there, but still Insom showing dedication, showing many races completed, um, and that gives him eighth points in the qualifier. So again, if there's top eight, if it was decided by qualifier points, Insom will be running out the top eight. Huge shout outs again, showing the consistency, showing the ability he's attempted every week, finished 19 out of 20 seeds. Really, really nice. The average of 483 points per seed, which gives him the 13th place spot there. His best performances were in week 2, 7, and 14, with a 6th place, 11th place, and 9th place time. So you see, peaking at number 6, that's pretty damn nice. Um, and some came from a background of Zelda randomizer knowledge and was ready to try his hand in Wind Waker HD for the first time. So I know in some very early on when I talked to him, he said he had experience or maybe even learning at the same time with OOT and MM randomizers, specifically Ship of Harkinian. Uh, I hope I said that right. Um, SOH for short. Um, so if you don't know anything about those are the other randomizers, and that's where Insom started off, as far as I know. And then come and picking up Wind Waker HD race settings. Um, very, very quickly went from not knowing much about the game to sub threeing and getting the mid 2 hour range. Insom is one of the most active community members and always brings great energy and emotes to whatever pain the runners are facing. Insom never backs down from a race, no matter the odds, and is known for his great custom models and hilarious text edits. So if you don't already have an Insom custom model, if you haven't tried one out or gotten some of his text edits, I 100% recommend it. And you're more than likely going to see him in some Wind Waker HD chat, either randomizer or just running vanilla speedruns now. So huge shout outs to Insom. Face. So Face has an average time of 1:55:11, which is ninth overall. Fastest time is a 1:36:03 coming out of that week 6 God seed. Average rank 7.17, which is a ranked ninth, just because we saw before, like Alberto and Mason both are a 1 point something. Face ends up 9 here. Qualifier points 9,039, just behind Insom in ninth place, with a nice average of 753. So another 9. Very, very solid all around for Face. His performances came from week 3, 17, and 4, with a 5th, 6th, and 4th place finish, respectively. And Face came from a background of SD Randomizer, but as soon as HD Rando released, he was hooked. With a wealth of game knowledge and a keen eye on almost every Wind Waker HD stream that goes live, Face has become a serious player in HD and beat many top players in both live and async races. It would also be criminal not to mention Face's godlike seed rolling abilities, leading to the stretch of God seeds early in the async history. So Face was the first seed roller before things picked up IRL for him, and he's unfortunately been able to play less and been able to, yeah, both play less and roll the seeds less. But still, those early seeds were absolutely insane. Obviously, we have the God seed, but many other golden combos coming from Face's suggested seeds. And in his immortal words, funny name go Burr. Simple as that. Moving on, next we have Tom. So Tom, average time of 2:18:54, puts him in the 12th spot. His fastest is at 1:56:41, which is very nice on week 15. So he popped off that week. We saw that before in week 15. That grabbed him the 6th place spot. His average rank is 8.71 with 7,653 qualifier points with 547 average per week. His best performances came in that week 15 was a really, really nice one, and 16 and 14. So he had a really nice stretch in those few weeks. First, whoa, whoa, whoa. Anytime Tom shows up, you're guaranteed to see that. Um, so Tom came late to the asyncs, but showed immediate dedication, going back and finishing every previous async. to learn race settings properly, and he has not missed one since. Tom's making the switch to Wii U as I was typing this, and very soon we may see another transformation into an even more cracked Tom. No matter what changes, you can always expect some anime music and spinning emotes anytime Tom is live. That's going to be a staple. Anytime you see him in chat, anytime you're in his stream, it's always going to be a fun place to be. And yeah, coming late to the randos, but showing so much dedication. And he's also now a really familiar face in just about every chat you're going to see. Um, and I would love to see the Wii U learning arc. He said he doesn't swim yet. He has not learned super swims, but with learning Wii U, he's probably going to learn to super swim as well. So we might see another big step up in Tom's game. That's going to be awesome. Next, we have Tio. So, if some of you were counting and being like, wait, there's a gap in some of these spots, fifth, sixth, seventh, what's happening here? It's because Tio is here. Average time of a 1:45.58 gets him the fifth spot. Fastest time of a 1:29.51, another sub 30 in week six. Average rank of a 5.89 is ranked seventh. Qualifier points 7,521, 11th, because Tio has only participated in nine of them. Um, but he has 836 average points per week. So very solid average. Again, that's one less than Mercury, who had the fifth place spot. So, um, yeah, that's a very solid showing overall for Tio. Best weeks came in week 7, 9, and 10, with a fifth, sixth, and sixth place placement, respectively. So you see very consistent placement from Tio overall. The All Dungeons Warrior and recent Hacker Man for Runic HD practice tools, Tio came to Randomizer expecting absolutely nothing. Runs were squeezed in between college prep and side coding projects, but that didn't stop Tio from destroying in Rando. The races he does catch are sure to be close, with top player execution and dungeon knowledge on full display. Just keep a close eye, he doesn't start to levitate to the top. So again, Tio, anytime he can catch a race, does extremely well. Serious contender, but obviously very busy IRL, very busy making us tools so we can get better at the game. And yeah, that is Tio. Next, we have Video Freak. So, Video Freak has an average time just missing out on the sub 2 of 2 hours and 4 seconds. His fastest time is a 1:37.30. It's very solid and came from that week 6 God Seed. Average rank is 10, which is a tie, a three-way tie, we're going to see. Qualifier points, 3,025, with average of 605 points per week. His best performances came in week 7, 9, and 8. So, see, even though his best time was in the God Seed week, he played relatively even better after that. So Video Freak came from a background of vanilla speedruns 5 years ago. So I had to go on his speedrun.com page and I learned Video Freak, learned this game 5 years ago, in the any percent category. And his most recent runs are 3 years ago, both restricted and unrestricted. So Video Freak can MSS. Shout out to that. I still can't do that. That's an insanely hard trick. But he came back. The rando came out, and I don't know the last time he's attempted the game, but he came and instantly got a stretch of very solid showings before disappearing just as soon as he showed up. So you see this week 7, 8, 9 stretch, um, or I think it was like 6, 7, 8, 9, and that might have been it. As he goes back into the hyperbolic time chamber to grind, we'll have to wait and see what his true form looks like. So yeah, he came out, showed up some really solid times in randomizer, and disappeared. So we'd love to see him come back. I still see him active in Discord sometimes. So I'd love to see Video Freak coming back and running more of the asyncs. Shout out to him. Moving on to Reese. So Reese has an average time of 1:55.27. His fastest time is a 1:32.14, which is the eighth overall if you again rank players by their fastest achieved times. Part of that tie for average rank with a perfect 10. He has 1,821 qualifier points and average points 607 per week. So his best performances came set week 6, 7, and 5, respectively. With that week 6 God Seed came in seventh place. A big highlight for him. So Reese has a similar background to Video Freak, but even further back, Reese has runs of many categories on Wind Waker HD, but they're all from 7 or 8 years ago. Despite some of this rust, Reese got the eighth fastest time. Again, if you rank runners by their fastest times, he got the eighth ranked fastest time. with that 132 in week 6. The brief time with the asyncs, or their time with the asyncs was brief but bright. So we hope to see the return soon to break this three-way tie between video, Reese, and Tag. So Tag has an average time of a 3:03:14. His fastest time being a 2:50:18, coming from week 15. Average rank part of that 10th place tie, 479 qualifier points with an average of 160. So his best performances came in week 15, 13, and 12. And Tag started out with the randomizer casually, but within a month was attempting all sanity and entrance randomizers. So I looked back and tried to see where did Tag start out, and looking through his message history is very fun. He said, "More pain equals more fun," and grinded learning scraps very quickly. So after learning the game, tried his hands in the asyncs and immediately showed improvement. So going from um, going and getting the almost sub 250. I really wish he got a sub 250. That would have been really, really nice to see. That's a hard barrier to break. But only 3 races under his belt, um, getting all three you see on the board there. And I think if he comes back, he can push even lower. So huge shout outs to Tag. And finally, we have Kaito Chris. So Kaito has an average time of 3:45:28, fastest time of a 2:53:09. So you see much lower than that average. Average rank of a 10.67, barely missing out on that tie. 473 qualifier points with 158 average. He also only has 3 performances, but his best 3 going in weeks 16, 17, and 5. But do not let that stat line fool you. Don't let the 15th fool you. Chris came to the rando late, put his hat in the ring as soon as he started. He just picked up the game and said, "Sure, I'll run async." So his first week was over 5 hours, kind of bringing down his averages a decent bit. But the next week, he got a sub 3. He jumped from over 5 hours to sub 3 in 1 week. That is absolutely insane. That's faster than it took me. 100%. That's the single largest jumps we've seen in week by week times. Chris showed his potential to learn and execute solid routing and tricks. He only needs one good placement to jump the tie for 12. So we could see Chris rise up in the next year of asyncs. So I'd love to see it. Huge shout outs to Kaito Chris. And that concludes the um, randomizer 1 year anniversary async history and player card showcase. So I know it's just Google Slides with some colored text boxes and some little clips, but I just want to show this community means a lot to me. We've all put hundreds, if not thousands, of hours into randomizer, into learning this game, into practicing, into running, into just having fun, doing co-ops, doing streams, doing vanilla speed runs, going back and forth. Just even the late streams going into GeoGuessr that I would host with people, or watching Jari play Splatoon, the Rocket League grinds with Tot and Mason. Um, there are just so many little things that make this community so much more than just a randomizer and just a game. So um, I just want to thank you guys all for playing this game with me, and it means a lot. And let's have a full another great year. We got to get some tournaments going soon. I want to kick all your asses, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.